In the book of Ezekiel, God says to the prophet, "If I say to the wicked, you shall surely die, and you give him no warning, nor speak to warn the wicked from his wicked way, in order to save his life, that wicked person shall die for his iniquity, but his blood I will require at your hand." I first met Buck when I was working as a consultant for a restaurant where unfortunately we needed to go in and terminate the manager and then start the process of looking for another manager. And one of the challenges was just the culture. How did we manage the culture? Those that thought that the manager was, we were being unfair to the manager, those that were glad. And so it was just managing that whole process. And there was a young man, his name was Buck. He was in high school and he was a busser. And he happened to be a very zealous and bold Christian. He made no bones about his faith. He was really the envy of many Christians, I would say, because he was just so bold in his faith. And I remember one time we were having this employee meeting and there was some talk about the previous manager, and Buck started thinking that it was gossip. And it may have been from a Christian perspective, but he suddenly blurted out, "Margaret, that's gossip, and if you keep talking that way, I'm going to get up and leave." Now, Margaret was old enough to be his mother, and so to stand up to her in that manner was really quite something to see and something to hear. So he was not afraid to declare that he was a Christian, which was very, very notable of him. One night I was standing outside of the restaurant. It was about 10 o'clock at night. The restaurant was closed, and I was waiting for his parents to come and to pick him up. And we were just standing there chit-chatting when all of a sudden he blurted out, "Ron, if you were to die today, do you know that you would go to heaven?" And I was startled by the suddenness of that. I'd been a Christian for about 7 years, and so I assured him, "Yes, Buck, I do know that I'll go to heaven." And he breathed this sigh of relief and he said, "All right, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have your blood on my hands." Somewhere along the line, Buck was told that we're responsible, no doubt quoting from Ezekiel, for every person we meet, that we share the gospel with them, otherwise we will have their blood on our hands. And while it may have been well intended, I think it was the wrong way to approach an impressionable young Christian. Certainly, it's true that we are to share the gospel with those we come into contact with. But we must also use discernment, listening to the voice of the Holy Spirit, and making sure that we're more concerned with the person's soul than whether or not we're going to have their blood on our hands. When I think of sharing the gospel, I think of the greatest conversion, in my opinion, in the history of mankind. And that is the conversion of Paul, the Pharisee, who at one time was trying to destroy the church, who after his conversion to Christianity became a herald of the gospel, the most glorious message from God that leads a person to salvation. And here's what he said in his second letter to the Christians in Corinth. "For we are the aroma of Christ to God among those who are being saved and among those who are perishing. To one, a fragrance from death to death, to the other, a fragrance from life to life." Oh, that we would be the fragrance of Christ to others, knowing that some, it's a fragrance of death, and they may even reject it, and they may get angry with us. But it is worth the risk to be able to see how the fragrance of Christ can transform a person's heart. Thanks for watching this week's video. If you're enjoying them, please give them a thumbs up and share them with someone. And please consider a $5 or $10 a month donation. It'll help me to continue to produce these videos as well as other materials that'll help people grow in their faith. I'll put a link in the notes below, and I hope you have an awesome day.